Yes, people, I hope you're good. I hope you are blessed and well. I am Shadrach Notice. I'm a behavior expert and a youth self-development coach. There's a reason as to why I'm not going to mention my company or position on this video specifically, because we are speaking about holding our tongue and being candid. Basically, speaking our truth unapologetically and being authentic, and the things that stop us from being able to do so. So one of those things, I'm going to speak quite candidly in this video, is our presumptions and us assuming we're going to get a certain type of result. So let's picture this. For example, you're holding a door open for somebody, they're approaching, and your intent and what you're thinking is, I'm going to hold this door open for it to be easier for you, so you can just gracefully walk through the door, and I'm helping you out, and plus it's something I can afford to do and it makes me feel better for me doing this. But then at the same time, the other person could think, you know what, you're actually giving me a reason to rush, and I actually don't appreciate you holding the door for me, because now it's made me have to think about something I didn't want to think about, and I want to take my time up the stairs. Regardless, because this video is very much for, sorry to step back, people who feel like they're looked over, overworked, or their kindness is taken for weakness. So in this moment in time, your kindness isn't being taken for weakness, but you're assuming a certain type of result from this situation. But the truth is, what you really should feel is a sense of, I was happy with my intent, my choice. Even if I learned something, how to make this choice better another time, how to consider other people within this choice, it is never worth you not making the choice to begin with. Assert yourself still. Don't not assert yourself for the fear of not having the result you want, especially when that result comes from something external that you can't control. Yeah, so definitely bear that in mind. This is one of the reasons why I really want to speak quite candidly, because I feel like you get more of an authentic solution. You can see things more clearly when people can just express themselves. All right, let's think about, secondly, for example, our self-deprecation, us looking at ourselves as less than what we are. So let's picture another scenario. You're in a hall, there's a facilitator giving information, and he asks a question. Does anybody have any questions or anything to contribute at this time? You think to yourself, you know what? I actually have something that I'm eager to say in this moment in time. But you're fearful of judgment. You're fearful of, am I the person to contribute? What, little me? Should I say something? Should I really create this situation where the meeting moves on longer? People are going to sigh and be like, oh, thank you. But in this moment where you hold back, you rob a lot of opportunities of being able to happen. So what you might find happen is, across the hall, because this happened to me, in this experience, someone puts up their hand and asks exactly the same question you intended to ask. Yeah. When they ask this question, it's received well. Many people in the hall gain from this. They gain a different outlook, a different experience, maybe even initiative of how to do things differently and develop progressively into the future. And they could have been denied that if you didn't speak. But luckily, someone said exactly what you intended to say. But with this said, being as we all have our own individual outlooks, even if we were twins, it is so important for us to authentically and unapologetically be ourselves in a respectful, assertive manner, so things can progress. Otherwise, we breed stagnancy. Yeah, and this is going to bring me to one of the points that I'm going to say later, and why I didn't mention the company or my position earlier in this video regarding Ofsted. But before I do, another one I'm going to jump on is Valentine's Day, in regards to holding our tongue and being candid, just speaking openly. For example, I set this scenario. You're in a household with your partner, and your partner's expecting a certain result, given that it's Valentine's Day. But instead of asserting himself, so this third one is passive aggression, yeah? Doing things in a passive aggressive manner. Instead of asserting himself and saying to you directly, you know what, this is what I have an issue with, this is what I would like, and this is why I would like it. Instead, they move in a passive aggressive manner, yeah? And we could all do this when we're not really comfortable or confident asserting ourselves to address the challenge at hand. What we can do is we could stomp around the house, making that person quite aware yeah, but not properly aware, yeah, not in an assertive manner. We could go on the phone to our friends and be like, you know what, this person's doing that for you, lucky for you. You should see him, he ain't doing anything for me, or her, she ain't doing anything for me. And we passive aggressively nudge this person in very uncomfortable ways for them to do something in which we intend, but we never really have the direct conversation. What this does is this creates an anomaly that could create so many different counter issues. That person might never interpret what you want correctly. They may even take you out for that day and you feel satisfied on that day, but they don't understand your love language or how to contribute to you in a fundamental way. So this only happens on that day. So inevitably, your relationship falters because you're not able to have the assertive question. You're moving in a passive aggressive way, which creates so many anomalies for different risks and counterproductive situations. When we hold our tongue and don't speak candidly, yeah, I'm going to round it up on this point. When I think about situations like Ofsted and how schools operate, and we are all aware, nearly when I've spoken to every student, professional, teacher, parent, we're all very aware that the school upkeeps a certain standard for 1 or 3 days that they don't keep throughout the whole of the year. And we don't have this conversation. We don't highlight it in a manner which we can actually do something that's progressive to help it develop. What I mean by something progressive to help it develop is there being more external bodies involved in schools that visit more than once in every 4 years, that actually think about the development of the school in the areas where they need to develop. Organizations that can do that, so it's not the hoax that it is, because what we've actually gained is a system that doesn't really produce a result that reflects how the school operates, to give it that standard, and also holds the school to a bit of a, how can I say, it's an irrational standard. So they panic to be able to produce a standard that they're unable to produce, but they're not really shown throughout the process how to develop, and that ain't being measured in an appropriate manner. It's every 4 years or so where people say, oh, children be good on this day. And that doesn't work for how we're meant to develop. And I'm so glad that I can speak candidly on this situation so we can actually think for a moment about the things that we don't say that allow our realities to reflect what we don't want. So this is why we should speak candidly, speak our truth authentically, but respectfully, and be willing to learn or grow for doing so. All right. Stay blessed. Take care.